Dude, pointed stick.
Pointed stick! Pointed stick!
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick!
Whoa, pointed stick.
That pointed stick.
Pointed stick!
Pointed stick. We don't have any time for your trolling behavior on this channel. It just isn't welcome here. And so, good riddance to you.
All right. So today I don't really have a lot of direction. I just had some comments that I wanted to go over. And because here's the problem, right? Is that people leave comments, and Vegas is one of those things that I drop for long periods of time. And I do that because I burn out. I burn out pretty quick, pretty hard on this stuff. And so it's easier just to do it this way, I found, because at least then I address them and I don't just put them on the back burner and say I'll check into that and never actually do, because that seems to be what happens most of the time. So that's kind of why it actually worked out last time when I did that. And I haven't done this in a while. But you guys, like, people comment actually have some very interesting, because the problem with me in Vegas and all this madness is I don't see anything that is going to move the needle in my head in any way. I have an understanding of what went on in my head and what I think happened here. And a lot of it was kind of nailed down with Levi Hancock stuff, which is why it was kind of a disappointment to a large degree. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? To me, it's like, I'm very evidence-based. I know a lot of people, don't see it that way, but I know I got in trouble on what Daniel James stream one time. I think he got a little pissed off at me because basically he asked a question. I said, "There's not enough evidence, man. I can't say one way or the other." And I think it had to do with Campos. Like, there's just not enough evidence, dude. So I don't fucking know. And refused to give a personal opinion on the matter. And so, to me, it's kind of, I get locked down into this, narrative kind of ideology. The problem is, like, even with that, there's problems. There's always going to be holes. Now, can those holes be filled? Probably not. And, that's another reason the Hancock footage was such a fucking letdown. Because, like, we saw with Hancock, now this is the guy who's probably the number one expert on what was going on that night. And we heard him spout the narrative verbatim, like straight up. And he's in the moment. He's dealing with it live. He's a witness. And we're not getting like a witness statement 2 weeks later on some fucking CNN fucking article. No, we're getting it like live right then, right there. And I don't believe any of that footage was fake. I don't believe any of that shit was doctored in any way. I think the only problem we have with that footage is it's possible that there might be more of it after it cuts out. That to me, it's possible. It's very possible. I know in the Discord, Turbo was arguing this, and it is possible. I agree. That is totally fucking possible. I don't think there's footage before that moment, because we do have him say he didn't have his camera turned on about 30 seconds before in the Bitsko footage. And therefore, I think, I think he just thought about it. He's like, fuck it. He turned his camera on at that moment, and he came and walked up to Bitsko. Yeah, fuck, I didn't even have my camera on, bro. So I think that's kind of the issue with that. But to me, it's like, it was a letdown because it basically just reaffirmed the narrative in my mind. But at the same time, there's always going to be problems, because whether you want to put it on the investigation being shitty and them fucking a lot of things up, because I think they did, or there's something that they're hiding, there's definitely more to this than anybody knows, right? Or any of the public knows, for that matter. there's definitely more to it. And that's the only thing that kind of keeps me going from here to there. But the problem is, things like that, like where are you going to find that, dude? Like where are you going to find that information? Where are you going to get that? Are you ever going to get that? And that's kind of the issue I run into mentally within myself to continue doing this. And why a lot of times I burn out quick. Because that Levi Hancock footage did a lot of fucking damage once it got into the mainstream media, because now it's in the mainstream media. Now the police are getting attacked. Now the police are going to clam the fuck up. Now there's certain other things that I think are actually, to me personally, would have been more important than the Levi Hancock footage, and we're not going to see that. I don't think. I haven't tried, and that's on me, dude. I've been lazy. I need to just do it. It's a freaking website. I don't know why I don't just do it, but I would like to see the Mandalay Bay employees, all their statements, right? And they should have them. They should have plenty of those things. And the casino host, the person that greeted them at the front desk, even people in the camera room, security guards in the camera room, stuff like that. I mean, I think a lot could come out of things like that. And if you want to talk about, someone helping them out in some form or fashion, whatever, the security guards in that camera room would probably be somebody you'd be interested in hearing about. And I know it's got to be factual. They said they were going to interview in one of the other casino hosts interviews. They said they were going to interview the casino host from Mandalay Bay. And so that's got to be there. We know it's got to be there somewhere, probably hidden in some fucking file we're never going to see. But as long as all the other, stuff, I mean, they would be remiss of their jobs if they did not interview every single person that was working in Mandalay Bay that night. And probably even some people that weren't, just to hear what was going around the next day as far as rumors and stuff like that. Or the day before when Paddock was staying there, the 5 days before when Paddock was staying there. So, even though as far as evidence goes, I follow everything factually as much as I can with the facts that are given to us. And I don't generally dispute facts that I cannot prove. There be a reason behind why those facts would be. In my head, I can't point out why those facts would be doctored, altered, or faked in any way. So the event to me looks like what the event looks like. It looks like, this dude went up there and shot a bunch of fucking people. Did he have help? It looks like, that 9:30, was it 9:33 or whatever? I forget the time every time I say it, but it might have been 9:38. I don't remember. But that time, tells you that, yeah, okay, there may have been more than, just him involved in some way, or somebody that possibly knew about it, or somebody that was visiting him, and, he could have said, go pound sand because shit's about to get real. I don't fucking know. We don't have the information for that. We don't have the evidence for that. All we have is the evidence that it looks like someone else is up there with him in the hallway. So anyway, I want to go through and I want to look at some of the comments I've gotten over the last couple of days, and address that. It's kind of hard because people have been commenting under older videos, so I kind of have to go dig them out and find them. But a couple of them I did, I do actually have. And let me get this up here. So this was the video I posted just, a couple days ago. Was it yesterday? I don't even remember now. Anyway, so, this is, this guy, posts my stuff all the time. And I appreciate it. Again, I appreciate it because where I was going with that rant before I kind of went off course is, like I said, when I'm locked in and I have a particular mindset on something, it's nice to hear somebody else's mindset, even if I don't agree with it. So I do appreciate people leaving comments into this stuff. So, this one, and I don't think he did reply, but I think he replied, and of course not showing me the replies, which is great. what he basically said in this is, he had a question about what I put in here as far as I was looking at the 200 wing in this video. I looked pretty hard at the 200 wing in this video. I was doing the street maps on the 200 wing on this video, showing the view of the 200 wing. And I one problem I have, and everyone will fucking tell you that knows me and that you just witnessed live, real time, is that I go off on tangents, man. And I'll lose that thought. I'll go off. I'll start talking about something completely fucking different. You'll think I'm talking about the room, but I'm actually talking about the venue at this point. And I forgot to fucking tell you, we just switched topics. That happens with me. It happens a lot. My brain's always fucking spinning in different directions. Just, it is what it is. But with this, he didn't understand where I was going with this, and I get it. Like I said, I may not have explained it very well, but to explain it here, just to go back in the comment, the deal was with this. What I was looking at is originally this was a comment. Somebody had a vehicle that was shot behind at this McDonald's, which was impossible from really anywhere in the casino, and but you had a cop say it looked like the vehicle had been shot, and it was behind that McDonald's. And I was looking at the viewpoint of the 300 wing. Is this a possible shot? Which, yeah, it was kind of obvious, even before I even looked at it, that it wasn't going to be. But was it possible to hit it from the 200 wing? Which I'm not saying there was anybody in the 200 wing shooting out the 200 wing. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is this guy wanted, because then it spun my brain into this thing, right? This guy wanted the 200 wing. Steve Paddock wanted to go into the 200 wing of the hotel, and he wanted a room on the 200 wing of the hotel. He asked for a suite, and he asked for an adjoining room, which means he was going to get the suite at the end of the hall, just like he had in the 100 wing. He's going to get one in the 200 wing. You have a stairwell in there that I believe faces south. I believe I looked it up, and it faces south. So he was going to have a room that was basically facing this McDonald's, which would be the building, the Mandalay Bay. Basically, the 200 wing faces this McDonald's, and the adjoining room would have faced up the Las Vegas Boulevard here a little bit, so it would have been able to shoot at the concert from there. It would have been a hell of a shot. It would have been a very, very long shot. But it's an interesting question nonetheless, because the guy did ask for the 200 wing. Why did he ask for 200 wing? That's what I was looking at, because what would have been his targets? Because there's not a lot there. There's just really not. So why he was at, okay, 936, thank you for correcting me, because I always got to be corrected on that time. But why the 200 wing? Why did this guy want the 200 wing? That's what I was kind of looking at. Trying to figure out, like, what is the point, dude? I mean, the convention center's right there. Maybe he got burned, right? Imagine this shit. He got burned by Grant Cardone, and the convention center's right there. I don't know where Grant Cardone was doing his actual thing that night. So even if Grant Cardone was actually the Mandalay Bay partying and his after parties, I think that's what the story was with him. Where was his actual convention going on? Of all these rich people in Vegas. Doing this, what's alleged to be a big scam. So, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, he could have, he would have had if the rooms are laid out the same way, then where basically the television is, that little sitting area, that would have been facing the convention center, I believe, if I have my bearing straight here. And, yeah, so he could have hit that, if that was the case. I think the police department's behind that convention center, so he could have hit the police department too. But I know people said that, and I don't understand why you would want to shoot at the police department. You're not going to know that they're going to decide that's the place to muster at that moment. So I don't know. That's just weird to me. That's always been something I can't substantiate with really anything. I just it doesn't work in my brain. Let's see, reading what you guys are saying. Let's see, regardless of what happens, I appreciate your effort looking at Vegas research videos spent on FOIAs, etc. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Grant friendly flipper. And let's see, it's hard to remember the time. I have to look at the time. Yeah, I always have to look at the timeline, dude. I don't remember a lot of that stuff. I just know it was around 9:30 sometime, dude. So, to me that's the thing. But again, like this was just going off on a tangent, and I guess I kind of confused people, so I kind of wanted to clear that up. And I don't know if he's the only one that was confused. I don't even know if like I said it very well in this video when I did that. So I kind of wanted to clear that up a little bit. But yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, this guy wanted the 200 wing. He wanted a room at the Tropicana. He didn't want the 100 wing. He didn't want where he was. Even after he was in his room and he's overlooking the damn concert, he's got the perfect room to overlook the concert for what the dirty shit he's going to do, but he doesn't want it. He's already in there, right? He's already in there. He's got his little setup there, and he doesn't fucking want it. At least according to the final report, he's going off and he's asked for the 200 wing even after he was already in the hotel and after he's already overlooking the concert. So I think there's a solid question there as far as what could the original target have been? Why did he want the 200 wing? People have mentioned the airport, stuff like that. I mean, it's all valid, and that's kind of where I was going with that. So I have to kind of dig up, like I said, I have to dig up through this the comments, because yeah, I mean, YouTube's not good with not with comments. And I got to find where they were. Okay, so here we go. So this is the one he comments all the time, and you're actually in the chat, so that's good. Seventh Son. Let's see. At 42:52, I saw a cat by that famous black Audi in front of Luxor. The one the four dudes jumped out of and ran into the Luxor right at the beginning of the volleys. It could be wrong. At 41:52. So what are we looking at? 41 all the way at the end of this video, man. Oh shit. Nah, dude, you're not even looking at this video. See, that's the problem. I don't know. I don't know what video you're referring to on that. So I don't know. I can't say much about that. Hey Jeff, how you doing? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Let's see. So that was Leave by Hancock stuff. This is just when this thing went mainstream. I know there's more. There are more comments in here. Like I said, I just got to fish them out because they're from older videos, and they were posted recently. The comments. Who is this Sean guy, and who did he shoot? Sean Donald. Oh, okay. Talking about Sean Donald shooting out at the Long Flight Starlight. Okay. Yeah, he didn't realize they were talking about Sean Donald at that point in time. I know there was another one here, and it was a comment I got recently. In fact, I just got it a few hours ago, I believe, which kind of made me want to come on here. Okay, here we go. 907 Pataket gloves, pair of gloves on the bed, and 134. One of the third pair, brown jersey gloves. I'm not sure what brown jersey gloves are. I'm guessing you're talking about the brownies that. Well, yeah, let's just say people that want to do bad things wear. Hey, how you doing? 907. So you're saying 907. Let's look at what we got here. I'm going to have to pause it. But that's stupid. But I'm wondering if that's... All right, so is that glove. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, to me, that looks like some chicken shit cloth glove, man. I don't see leather on that. I don't see anything like that on that. There's the hat he was wearing. I mean, for what it's worth. The baby sense monitor for the child monitor that he had that was up there by the ice chest. And then I'm not sure, this might be a notepad. I don't know. I think that's what that is. And I don't know if that's the note saying turn off cell phones or not. That's where they got that from. We got this weird charger here, power brick. Not sure what that's for. Could be a lot of things considering what he had in that room. But to be honest, that's a tiny ass cord, dude. That's like a 4-inch cord. And what are you gonna do with that, man? What do you plug it in with that? Because it's got to be right next to the wall, whatever you're doing with that. I mean, yeah, that's interesting. And then I'm not sure what this piece of paper is below the glove. It's hard to say, but so yeah, so you're talking about the gloves. Let's see, no hole in the wall, just right of officer. Let's see, 1737. What are we looking at here? I mean, I have a feeling I know what you're getting at there. You said 1737.
Yeah. He took a look at him.
What's inside with the wire? Vibrate. Huh? Vibrate. Is it really? The other one is just a
So the hole.
power cord.
Yeah, I mean, this is too grainy. It's too grainy to see that, but the hole should be, I believe, next to the door. So I believe the hole's right behind where his arm is. I think that's where it looked like it might have been in the fit report. But again, it's speculative because nobody can prove that that's actually a hole or if that's just battle damage. It's hard to say. There's this little thing. It's a detonator. And that's the best. That's the best look we're gonna get at 134. Oh, that sucks, man. That sucks, but it is what it is. Let's see. Bullet did not make it through though. No hole in the wall. Right officer. C. John C's vid. Las Vegas shooting Liesville mission. Episode 6 at Jesus Campos shoots Stephen Paddock. Bullet did not make it through. Not sure what that video is. And the copyright system seems to love me these days, but I'm gonna look at it. Let's see. What you got? Las Vegas shooting, Liesville mission, episode 6. Oh man, I gotta type all that in. Mission. Let's see. Oh, please tell me to send me to a Hoover channel. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, I can't really play Hoover vid. Hoover does not like me. Let's see. Yeah, I can't play a Hoover vid, man. Yeah, I mean, I can't play it all the way through. It'll kill me. Hoover will come after me, dude. Hoover does not like me at all. Hoover definitely does not like me. Let's see what you say. Lombardo says the drilling was not all the way through. It's on other side, on the outside. Really? You think he was drilling from the outside in? How did you come up with that? I'm just curious. Like, I don't know. I'm curious how you came up with that because I don't know about that. Is that what he said? He said he was drilling on the outside of the room? I thought he said he was drilling on the inside because of Jesus Campos' statement. I thought that would be based off that, but I could be wrong. Let's see, 840. No way. 1,100 empty casings laying around. We have seen empty casings on the pile of glass, but that had to be from volley 7 when the shooter came out the window. Came to the window for volley 7. Okay, I see where you're going with that. Not sure I agree with it. What was the time frame you had on this? 840. Fire extinguisher? Yeah, I believe that was like fire extinguisher. Dude, it's so cringe listening to yourself talk. Oh my god, this is horrible. It's like nails on a chalkboard. That was. I believe someone tracked down exactly what. What do you think YouTube would do if I copyrighted my own video? If I sent a copyright strike to my own video? Oh shit! I wonder what would happen there. What type that was too.
I counted 13 lines.
Okay, talk about that. Again, grainy footage, man. Grainy footage. I can't tell what the fuck I'm looking at. We got a better picture of this in the fit report, really. I think the fit report would be a better source for this, for the stuff on the ground there.
Control 020. Control 020. Copy some information on a potential name, possibly related with the suspect.
So there's the phone charger. Oh, I'm gonna talk about the phone charger. I don't want to hear myself talk, man. Okay, so you talk about the casings on the ground. So what you're saying, and I mean, I'll be honest, man. I mean, I haven't followed the volleys as well as you probably have. Volley 7 was where he shot at the officers. Where he shot the cops on the ground. At least that's what I'm taking that you're saying from this. Branch of trust. I don't know what that is. But I'm thinking that's what you're saying, right? You're saying that the Volley 7 was the ones that were shot at the police. That means that he had to be a lot closer to that window, obviously, because he's shooting almost at a straight downward angle as opposed to, well, at least more of a downward angle, but I don't think it's that much of a fucking difference. It's going to be a little bit, though, definitely. And, I've always kind of had the feeling that he broke out more of the window just to do that because, he would have he would have had to have the brake a little higher in order to shoot at that angle. But I don't think all of those casings are from that. I just don't. I don't. And it's hard to say, because you got the I don't know if you call it a theory, but you got the I guess it is the theory of chaos where you don't know where the shells are actually going to land from time to time, right? So we just have no idea. It's the shells are going to go up and to the right. Obviously, that's the way a gun ejects shells. But past that, it's anyone's fucking guess where they're going to land, what they're going to bounce off of, what they're going to hit. It is interesting that the shells are that close to the window, which tells me that's probably where where he was shooting from. Why the shells landed right there? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because I would think that the majority of the shells would actually have landed a little extinguisher, is what that was. At least someone tracked down exactly what type that is too. And if I would shut the fuck up, the video would play.
13 lines.
So, this is a question that me and JB used to argue over all the damn time. We used to always try and figure this out. Like, where was he standing when he was shooting out that window to get that angle? And we felt that the best source of that would have been HDR CFX Cornwall back in the day because he seemed like he kind of was pretty good at doing stuff like that. But turned out he's kind of a shithead, so that wasn't going to happen. Nope, he used the window as a site to stay on the X. Okay, so yeah, I think you're on the exact. I think you got the same ideology that I got as far as how that works. Let me look at it. Let me go into the fit report real quick. course, I don't have it pulled up on this system. Okay, so here we go. So I agree with you. I think you're probably 100% right, and I've been saying that for a while now. That I think what most likely happened within this is he just broke out a little enough of the window that he could shoot out of to get the angle on the concert, and so we can increase the zoom on this. All right, and we can go to stop this. Go to this. All right, so that there. I think all he had to do, and you kind of see the angle right there a little bit. So, but it's hard to say like why those shells are where they are. Why they're all clumped up against the window there. It's really hard to say, but I would think that all he had to do is just hit that window once or twice, knock out a little 1x1 square, and then shoot out that 1x1 square. And as long as that square and his footing was lined up with the concert perfectly, every bullet's going to land almost kind of in the same area, kind of in the same place in a way, and of course, bump stock, he's probably, he could have been missing a few. I could have went through some of the window and shattered out more of the window, but who knows? And then since the hammer is sitting right here next to the window, obviously that hammer somehow had to end up in 134 at some point within the night. So my guess is he carried that hammer around and carried it back over here at some point, and then that was when he had to break out more of the window to shoot the cops down below him. It's my ideology. It's kind of how I feel, and and these pictures are very deceptive because these windows are actually, these are 8-foot windows, and this isn't the top of the window up here. And right about where this rope is, I think that's only about 2.5 feet up. So I think that the top of this break is only like 3.5 feet, maybe 4 feet at the most. You're talking about a 6-foot dude, right? Standing in front of this window. A guy that's almost as big as the damn window in its completion, which is always funny because when people talk about how, the way the cop, walked up to the window, he wasn't afraid of his own safety because he's stepping on glass and he's looking out of a window. Also, the angle's kind of jacked up because see the angle here is a little, the angles on these photos are horrible. But yeah, dude. If you're 6 foot and you're looking out a window that's only half broken, it's a 3 foot, it's 3 foot of broken window at the bottom. Your head's banging against this glass, dude. You're not worried about falling out as much as you would think. I wouldn't really be. I'm not afraid of heights or anything. So it's like, I don't think that would be a problem. I never understood that train of logic. But yeah, it looks like it's about 3.5 feet up. So I don't know if all these bullets. Yeah, I guess you could say some of these shells were probably from him firing down at the cops. It's hard to say, dude. It's just so hard to say because you just don't know where he was standing. I would expect, and this is the kind of the problem I have with a lot of this stuff, I would expect more of the shells to be on the other side of the table over there. There are a few, but there's not a lot. I would expect a lot more of them to be on the other side of the table because my idea or my thought is this dude is standing pretty close to where he would have been shooting out of. And if that's where he was shooting out of, then the bullets would have actually been over where the body is, where his legs are, or the shells. I would expect. But I don't know. That's something that's always been kind of puzzling to me. But I agree with you. I think he broke out a little bit of that window. I don't think he broke out the whole damn thing all at once. And the only reason I say that, the only evidence I have of that is that the hammer's next to that window. And it's kind of weak evidence, but it is what it is. That hammer had to be in 134 at some point, and it got brought back into 135 because I think 134 was broken out sometime, throughout the shooting. He had plenty of time in between a couple of those volleys to break that thing out. So that's just me. I don't understand. I wouldn't understand the logic behind breaking out 134 completely and setting all this up with a broken window. I just don't. I don't think a 933 is breaking out the window of 134 and there's glass falling to the into the valet area or wherever it would land, and him just not giving a fuck at that point. I think that window is probably broken out after he started doing his business. So, the fact that the hammer's there, I don't know, tells me that he went broke 134, brought the hammer back. Why did he bring the hammer back? I would think to break out more of the window. And that's the only factual thing I can stand on with that. I know it's pretty chicken shit. I didn't answer your question completely because I don't fucking have an answer for you, dude. I really don't. And I mean, I know you're not asked for answers. You're kind of showing me stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing, man, because those shells on the ground, like the way that they are, it is strange. But again, that's why I guess this footage was good, right? Because all we have is the fit report, right? So we're looking at a pile of glass and a bunch of shells sitting in the glass, and you could argue that, oh well, that was after they started cleaning up the room, started sweeping all that shit up, so they're not sliding around on it. Nah, dude. I mean, that's the way it was in the breach. I mean, we can kind of see it, so it's kind of, I guess, a positive for the footage that we got. Let's see, Beeson's body-worn camera. I don't know if I have Beeson's loaded up, dude. We can see volley 6, where the shooter comes to the window. Beeson sees the flashes of volley 7, pounding the cruiser at the cop on the corner. He's outside at the base of Tower 100. Base of Tower 100. Oh, the 100 wing. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I watched those videos. And again, I haven't watched all of them. You can kind of go through everybody who wants. I mean, who cares? But everybody can see exactly how I do this stuff, and because I do everything pretty much live, all the videos I've watched, all that sort of stuff, it's pretty much live. I've watched a few offline, but not all that many. So I haven't gone through probably 10-20% of these videos, or it's probably about as what I've gotten through. But watching a dude on a street corner guard a street corner for 30 fucking minutes is not something I'm heavily motivated to do most days. Let's see, but when the shooter comes to the window, let's see, Beeson sees the flashes of volley 7 pounding the group. That's good. That's a good. I mean, that's good assessment, right? You're saying you can't see volley 6 because he's shooting at the venue most likely. No, it wasn't a rubber mallet, dude. That was a Est-wing sledgehammer. It's a mini sledge. They sell those at Home Depot. You can actually you can buy those. I almost bought one time just for Vegas' sake, but I didn't. He used the Windows site to say, stay on the accent. Yeah, we already talked about that. And I agree with you on that, man. That was something I was saying from the beginning, man, because that's all you really got to do is you don't have to actually aim for anybody in the concert. All you got to, if you're going to spray and pray, just break out a 1x1 fucking hole and then just shoot out that hole as long as you stand in the right place. You're lined up with that hole's lined up with the concert. As long as it goes through that hole, it's going to the right fucking spot. As gruesome as this all is talk about. Let's see. Someone else broke out 134 for the 6 singles while Campbell's occupied 135 guy with the 3. Okay, now you're going heavy conspiracy with me. You broke it out with a vibrator. Nah, dude. I ain't getting on with that, man. I ain't believing that shit. Someone else broke out 134 for six singles. Who? And where are they? That's always gonna be a problem, dude. Like, who? If there's a second shooter involved, oh my god, dude. Like, who was it? Where are they? Where did they go? How did they get out of there? You know. Well, Jesus camp was occupied 135 guy with the 3 shots after volley 4. Okay. So I think what you're saying is you're saying you don't think it was Stephen Paddock. You don't think Paddock was in 135. He's not the corpse. Okay. I'll get on with you with that. Or I'll give you that for now. Just for argument's sake. Which, I mean, whatever. So 135. So, there's a Paddock guy in 135. I'm just going to call him Paddock because to me it's easier to remember that. And then you're saying there's a mystery guy in 134 shooting out of 134. You're saying 135 was busy shooting at Campos in the hallway, and then somebody else was in 134 shooting at the singles. Is that what you're saying? Lost maintenance guy mentioned by officer at bottom of elevator. The lost maintenance guy. So you're talking about when they're at the center core down there, and the guy was saying, "I lost 2 of my maintenance guys." Is that what you're talking about? I'm guessing. I mean, the problem is you have there's nothing factual behind that. There's nothing even pointing to that, and that's kind of the issue I have with that. Right? Those 2 lost maintenance guys could have been anywhere, and I don't know, man. I mean, that's a rabbit hole, because you're gonna have to go through some body cam footage, find where those maintenance guys ended up. Did they end up on the 32nd floor? Because there were a bunch of people in that hallway. Did they get caught up with the cops that originally showed up? Where were they? I mean, did they go up the elevator with another team? Were they going up and down those elevators, bringing people to the floors? I don't fucking know. Did they fucking run out of the casino? Because fuck this, don't get paid enough for this shit. I don't know. There's not enough evidence to say that that was somehow involved, and to put them in the room shooting out at 134. It's like that's a huge stretch for me. It's a huge leap for me that I can't get to. But you do point out an interesting thing here, right? You can't see volley 6 because he ain't shooting out the window directly. He's again, shooter position. Where was he positioned? They say about 5 feet back from a window. They can't tell that from the ground, but nevertheless, I mean, just saying that he's back from the window kind of tells you that the dude probably wasn't nuts up to the glass. And I don't think he was anyway, because that'd be kind of foolish. Especially with those angles and all that sort of stuff. And he was 6'4". The head's what, about a foot? Maybe 1.5 feet. You got a big ass head. But so he's holding a gun about 5 feet. At about a 5 foot mark, if we look at the window, like I said, I think. Do we have another picture of that window? No, we don't. We don't have a backed out view of that window. No, we don't. But again, I believe this cable here, that's the zip tie, because they zip tied the looks like cops probably zip tied this thing. Looks like the zip tie, I believe. Because you look at like the bottom of the chair, right? How big is a fucking chair? Right? We're not talking about a gamer chair that's 4 foot tall. Now we're talking about a chair, dude. Chair's what, maybe 2.5 feet? 2.5 feet up? I don't know. Say that. It's not all the way up against the glass. So again, angles are a problem. So you put that chair up against the glass, go a little bit higher, maybe you get it about 2.5 feet. And then you got about another foot of broken glass, maybe a foot and a half at the most. A broken glass, you got a 6-foot fucking dude up against this glass. His head would be touching the fucking ceiling here of the picture. And then the gun is at about a 5 foot because you got to take the head into consideration. If he's just spraying and praying and he's not actually, trying to aim or anything like that. And he's going to stand back a little ways. He's going to have to, I would think. Unless you just seen the door interrogation report or whatever it's called. It is pretty interesting too. I wish someone would have grilled the FBI LVMP on the topic. Would love to hear them explain that. I mean, the problem is they're not going to give you answers, right? And I mean, I'm just reading a comment here, just tuning in. The door interrogation report or whatever it's called is pretty interesting too. I wish somebody would have grilled the FBI LVMP on that topic. Love to hear them explain that. They're not going to explain it though. And I mean, really, they're just going to say, yeah, dude did weird shit. That's all they're going to say. I mean, that's the problem. Like, what are you going to ask them? They're just going to give you some bullshit about that. And, the lock interrogation, I mean, there's a lot of weird things that happen in there, but it's very nuanced and it's hard to separate them out. When you get to the 2 rooms, oh my God, dude, that fucking lock interrogation sucks. I've been through that thing a couple times and on stream, been through that a couple times, and it just becomes a fucking nightmare. And it's really, really complicated. It's really difficult. I think a lot of things that people find in the lock interrogation that they think is like groundbreaking is explainable. And I think a lot of things in the lock interrogation are just not really easily explainable at all. So I think it depends on what exact instance you're talking about, what interaction you're talking about as far as that goes. It's really fucking difficult to go through that because you're having to deal with 2 different doors. Doors being deadbolted, doors being opened with different key cards, failures of key cards, all that bullshit. And it gets to be a pain in the ass. And then you're trying to figure out, well, what is he doing? Why did he swipe 6 wrong key cards on 135 when they belong 134? And he swiped in 134, and then he finds out that thing's deadbolted, but he doesn't know it's deadbolted. He just knows it ain't fucking working. And so then he has to go back down and get another key card, I would think. But then if you got another key card, it only took him 7 minutes, which is possible because the elevator ride only takes about 58 seconds. The one time that I did it up to, and that was a floor above this, I believe it was a couple of floors above this. And so you got 2 minutes of elevator, riding, and then you got to walk to the little area there, which is probably another minute back to the elevator. You can do it. It's very possible. But what did he do with his luggage at that point, right? He had some bags with him at that one. And you're like, well, did he leave his luggage up there? Because that's kind of sketch, dude. It depends on what's in that luggage at that time. It's sketch. But, if you had a bunch of guns, you just left them in the hallway in a bag, dude. That's sketchy. I don't think you'd want to do that. In fact, you may have had a valet on that one. But if you had a valet, are you going to leave all your guns with the valet? That's super sketch. Crazy sketch. But it depends on what moment you're talking about. The Shuck sworn statement is he was there at the time of the first officers and talked about the people. No, he wasn't. He wasn't, was he? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't remember. I remember people saying they thought they saw him in that footage, but I don't remember ever seeing him in that footage, to be honest with you. So I think you're actually correct. I'm going to have to pull that up again. Not right now, because that would just be me looking for a damn video for the next 20 minutes. Let's see. What are we talking about here? Go to Beast's body worn camera. I can't do that right now. I'll load that up next time. I should have read this before I started this. But I know what you're talking about. The cop outside was actually being shot at, and he actually says he saw the gunfire. He saw where it was coming from, and I believe, yeah, he did see it. He said he saw it, and it was shooting down at him. They were shooting at him. I believe he even said they were shooting at him. Some of the other volleys, like single shots, stuff like that, that stuff's kind of sketch because when he fired the 6 single shots, I think he fired the 6 or whatever. It's actually, it seems like more than just the than what everyone seems to the common knowledge behind those shots. But again, I haven't totally dug into it. But when he's shooting those shots, and you see the one go through the netting over there by the cops, it seems to me like he was shooting at those cops behind that wall, or he was shooting down there in that direction somewhere, because you actually see the cop when the first shot goes off, he doesn't even flinch. But then all of a sudden, I think it's the second and third shot go off, and he's flinching behind that wall. So it seems like he was being hit, or he's being shot at that point. And it's hard to tell with the audio on that one because the audio is real screwball. Let's see, at 15:57, Levi had both his gloves. Let's see. Oh, so you're talking about the glove on the counter. Levi already has gloves. Did he? Didn't he leave one outside on the? No, it wasn't on the cart. He left a glove somewhere.
Yeah, and that's going to be the same as his driver's license address as well.
So license. So for some reason, I can't remember where the glove was, where he left it, but I think it was when he placed the charge, if I remember right. I could be wrong though, dude. I could be wrong on that. Completely wrong. Let's see. Biggest shooting, bullet holes in 100 wing, 36th floor hallway. Oh, Twin Talk. Let's see if I can open this without causing too many problems. Oh wow, they actually did a pretty good. They did a pretty good job of. I forgot about these guys. And you're talking about what were we talking about? You're talking about 458. Are you talking about in this video? No, because video don't have no sound or nothing. That's weird. Wow, they did a good job, dude. I'd never seen this. When did they do this? 5 years ago? 5 years ago, huh? Let's see. So damage to the wall, ceiling, doors, crime scene investigation report signed L.A. Alexander. Where did they get this from? Did they make this? No, this is what they took it off of. So we're retired investigators gathering, analyzing data. Okay. So they made this, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, you look at the strikes, I think they got this pretty damn accurate. I'm not sure about the 131, 133 stuff. To be honest with you, that could be damage from the breach. But this is interesting because 129, he I believe there are 11 strikes on that wall, on that little alcove wall there in 129. So they did do that pretty well. Now Shuck was he between 117 and 119? Or am I tripping? because Campos, I'd have to go back and look. I can't remember where Campos was. Campos was like 122, 124, some shit like that. He said he was between 121, 123. But Shuck was down a little ways. And if you look, like other than 129 right here, there's no shots. Like there's nothing down that hallway. He never shot at Shuck. I mean, that's what I believe. I don't think he ever shot at Shuck. I believe all this shit on the bottom side here is all the stuff he was shooting at Campos, trying to get to Campos when Campos was running. But the other side, I don't think he ever shot at Shuck. It just doesn't look like it. Shuck said something struck him in the back. Did a pretty good job here, man. And when I looked over this, it seemed to me there was something between 120, 122 or something that hit, which might be one of these dots here. And I'm thinking, well, that would have been a long travel time to hit him. And it wasn't a bullet because it probably would have, or a fragment. It probably would have went through him. So it most likely was just drywall or even wood off of one of the paintings or something stupid. Who the fuck knows? But like, there's a lot of travel time there, man. It would have lost a lot of momentum. And this guy is so pumped up with adrenaline at this point because of what's going on. I can't imagine he didn't feel anything unless it was a massive force and he thought he was shot. But I don't fucking know. That's always caused me a fucking headache, man. Shucks is Shucks something else. Right. I want to get off that. I want to get off their video. I don't want them getting pissed off at me. I think that kind of covered most of the comments that I've had recently. I don't think I've seen any others. Let's see. Packet gloves, pair of gloves in bed, 1/3 pair. Yeah, okay. So this is, we already saw this. I looked through this. Yeah, I think I've gone through everything at this point. Let me see if I can find. I got. All right. Well, let's go over these real quick. Might as well. I'm here. Might as well do it. What time is it? Yeah, I got some time. Before I got to do anything else. Let's see. What is it? It's the Levi footage, which I got to fix the title of this. So again, 2102, someone says we were told he was on 27th or 29th floor. When these guys know where the gunshots coming from, didn't someone outside supposedly say I see the gunshots from 36th floor? No, I believe on the radio he said north of the Mandalay Bay. It's coming out of like the 30th floor or something like that. I think it is what he was saying. I think there's a lot of confusion. So personally, I don't have a problem with them saying something like that, not knowing where it was, and people saying all kinds of different shit. Because I believe you're talking about. I think this was 2102. I think this was Bitscoat said that.
We weren't hearing you, and we couldn't let you know that we were there. We were told he was on the 20th. We were.
Yeah, I think that's Bitsco. I believe we watched the Bitsco footage. I think that's in the Bitsco footage.
We weren't hearing you, and we couldn't let you know that we were there. We were told he was on the 20th.
And then what's the timestamp on this? So we're at 11, almost midnight. So it's well after the breach and all that sort of stuff. So they're just yapping. But I think he said 27th. It's hard to make that out. Let's see. Oh my God, you guys have been talking like crazy. Okay, let me catch up here. Let's see, Chuck. Yeah, okay, got that. Sworn statement is he was there, and I'd have to pull up Chuck's statement, but yeah, I don't know if he was up there or not. I said I know a lot of people were saying that they saw him in that footage, but I never saw him in that footage. Plus, key card screws don't always work, right? I had my card not work before. Yeah, that's for damn sure. Yeah, I agree with that. But he had a bunch of them, and I mean, well, we don't know if it's the same card or different cards. Like, all right, we'll do this real quick. We'll go into this a little bit since you brought it up. Let's go here. Let's go down to lock interrogation. And let's see, what is this? What day is this? This is the first. I want to get to the point where he's kind of going crazy with the key cards and failing miserably. Let's see, is this all the same time? Yeah, it's pretty close. Let's see, the night of. I gotta find the one where he went berserk with the fucking key cards. There it is. Okay. So Steam Paddock. Okay, so here's where you got error, no access to this room, error, no access, no access. So he was swiping cards like crazy. And this is the 30th at 6:05 in the morning, which I mean, time doesn't really matter what I'm looking at here, but these are all Corpia, C Orpia, which I looked her up, and yeah, she's a real person. There's some interesting stuff behind her that I've never really talked about because I don't like doxing people and stuff, but yeah, she's got an interesting employment history, put it that way. So it looks like he was doing this Orpia card over and over and over again, and I believe this is the one where it was kind of sketch because I think this is where he had to go down, right? Yeah, he had the 7-minute window here, so he had to go down and get another card. He got another card from Colton here, and use that card instead. Use the Orpia card here again, but the thing is, there's 2 cards, right? So there's 2 cards that were handed out by Orpia at this point that we, that for sure at least 2. Could have been more, probably 2, most likely 2, because that's usually what they give you. No access to this room. Okay, was he swiping the same card over and over again? Was he swiping a different card? I believe at the same time he swipes it into. So we're looking at 6:05 on 9:30, right? And this is the thing with lock interrogation. This is why it gets really, really insane. 6:05 at 9:30. We want 6:05 a.m. 9:30, and I'm not going to turn this around because this gets all goofy when you do that. 6:05 a.m. These are all p.m. Okay, where's the a.m., dude? Is it? Am I going the wrong way? I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? Let's see. No, I'm not. Where's the 6:05? Who the fuck? Yeah, it was going the right way. It should be right here. 9:30. Okay, yeah, here's the 6:05 a.m. 9:30. So with this, I'm gonna turn this around. Are you kidding me? That's the problem with doing that. I hate doing this. So 6:05 a.m. So this is where he got the card from Orpia, right? It's actually 6:03, which fucks up my whole understanding of what I just fucking looked at. So 6:03, he got this card from Orpia, but the problem is it's deadbolted. He's got the right card for the right room. It's 134, but the damn thing's deadbolted. It's not letting him in. So it's saying you got the wrong. It's just, to me, like, I don't know. You guys can answer this for me. I believe it just gives you a little red light. It don't tell you why it ain't letting you in. It just ain't letting you in. And then he goes up here and releases deadbolt because he figured out what he did, how he fucked up. So, and that's why this lock interrogation gets so out of control, because you got to look at both doors, and that gets a little fucking insane. But yeah, so 6:13, he released the deadbolt because he figured it out. But at 6:03, he got this card from Orpea. He didn't even try the other card on this door. The door, which this was the door that other card was for, right? So what we were looking at 9:30 at 6 in the morning. Let's see, and this is why I hate dealing with this because it's upside down and it's all stupid. So we can go boom, boom. So 6:05 in the morning. So yeah, 6:12. He got a card from Colton. Okay, so yeah, 6:12. Okay, so there was a 7-minute gap there. That's what we got. So he had 7 minutes to go get that card and come back up. And the Colton one was the correct one. Well, this card here was the wrong card. So he's swiping the Orpea card on this room, and he's probably pissed off. He's probably freaking the fuck out because he's got a bunch of fun guns in his fucking thing. Within a minute time, he swiped this thing just a shit ton of times, which, is definitely doable. I mean, you could swipe 100 times, probably a minute. But I don't know how fast the computer would react to that. But so that's kind of how, and like I said, we don't know if this is 2 cards or 1 card. Most likely it's 1 card. He brought this card with him. He didn't realize, like a dummy, that he deadbolted the 134, and he couldn't get it to work. What else you guys saying? That's why I hate the lock interrogation. Lock interrogation is just a pain in the ass. He was not with Hendricks in 31. No, Hendricks, I believe, had 3 security guards? I think those were security. That wasn't Shuck. Now Shuck would have been on 32. And I believe when 2 cops got up there, there were two maintenance guys. I think they were in the freaking hallway, hiding behind the first set of doors right there. There's one guy, and I think there was another guy down in there. Actually, there was a security guard, a big security guard that walked out of the hallway, I believe, as they came in. If I remember right. I'm going off memory though, so I could be wrong. But again, I don't know if I ever saw Shuck up there. I was a very hard, staunch Shuck denier. I used to say Shuck didn't exist, man. He's bullshit. It's a lie. It's all fake. But yeah, I was proven wrong on that because you got the radio communication, so you can't really deny that Shuck was definitely a part of this. I can't remember exact details, but I think it showed someone opening one of the doors from inside while he was outside messing around with the cards. Hunter UK was all over it, but he died suddenly. Well, he didn't die suddenly, but yeah, I mean, yeah, there was nothing shady behind how Hunter died. He wasn't feeling good for a while before that. And we talked a little bit about that earlier, 936. And since I got the report up here, I can get it fairly quickly. Let's see, it was 936 PM. 933, 936, doors open from the inside. It was this not altercation, but this line right here. 9:36 p.m. Doors open from the inside. That was a problem because the door was closed. He used a guest card at 9:33 and then closed the door, and then the other door was closed. And I'm not even going to go into that because I'm going to have to fuck with the settings again. But yeah, that's your thing right there. Is doors open from the inside, which means somebody opened that from the inside. But this door is closed, and he didn't swipe the card to open the. Well, he swiped the card here, but he closed it. So it said the door's closed at 9:33 on this one, and then the door was open from the inside 3 minutes later. But if we go down to 134, the door in that is also closed. So we have issues with that 936 doors open from the inside, and that was definitely something Hunter found. Let's see. No, volley 7. He started across the intersection, hit Brady, went into the center of venue, came back, hit Clarkson, the light pole, and the cement. Huh. He started across the intersection, hit Brady, went into the center of the venue, came back, hit Clarkson. Was that all like one? I can't remember. Was 7 the one that was broken up, where he did a volley of like 3 bullets, and then did another volley of 3 bullets, and then fired a whole shit ton after that. I can't remember. No, I believe you. I believe that sounds logical. That sounds totally possible. I'm not arguing that. Let's see. I think the whole door issue boiled down to 2 doors being open the same minute, but the door report showed seconds. Anyone could open 2 doors within 1 minute. Yeah, no, this doesn't have seconds on it. This doesn't go by seconds. Of course, we're always dealing with seconds here because we don't know the seconds within a lot of these interactions, which causes issues with some parts of this lock interrogation, but not there. Because like I said, this is what you're talking about. This is the doors open from the inside, but the door is closed. And then let's see, 9:36 p.m. So at 9:33, we know that the door is closed. At 1:35, it was not open with a key card from the outside. It was open from the inside. So somebody's inside the room at 9:36. If we go down to, and I'm going to do it, as much as I don't want to do this, I will. So we're looking at 9:36 of this night. So 9:34, and then we have 9:39. So in between here is where it happened. The doors close at 9:34 for 134. So the doors close in 134, and it's also closed 2 minutes later in 135. Or no, it's 9:33. So it was closed first in 135, then it was closed in 134. So we could assume he came out of 134. And because it does have the doors open here, which would, which is weird because we had a guest card accepted. So he's out in the hallway already. Never mind. He's out in the hallway. But yeah, he opened the door, then he closed it, which is weird, right? Because this dude has a card that works. He's out in the hallway. He has a card that works. And the deadbolt's not closed here. He could have got into 134. Which is strange. Whoever's in this fucking hallway had a guest card for 134, but they didn't use it. Instead, doors open from the inside at 9:36. This is 9:39, so this is after that. So it's a different interaction completely. And at that point, you can't take this 9:39 into any consideration because the door's already open from the inside at 9:36. So he's already inside the room at that point, supposedly by somebody who let him in the room, which causes problems within this narrative. So that's where the issue is there. But I believe that's what you're talking about. Volley 6 was 2-part. Okay. Well, I'll have to listen a little bit to Volley 7, but I believe you, man. I've never done that part of the research stuff. I never did any of that because I originally had Sean Graham. I talked to Sean Graham one time, and I had him. He was going to get on that, and he was going to try and map out because we have the Mr. Visual video, which is kind of early stuff. So because it's early at this point in everything, it's kind of hot trash. But at the time, it was the only video like it. So the Mr. Visual one has that little green laser, pointing and stuff, but it's not meant to be that accurate, right? All he's trying to do is just trying to show the amount of bullets that were coming out of that window. And, so what I wanted someone to try and map out every volley. And honestly, it was kind of a selfish thing because I wanted to see the people that I knew that were actually at the venue, and some of them were hit. I wanted to see what volleys would have been aimed at them, and I kind of wanted to get an idea of that because I believe the one guy told me he was hit. He thought it was volley number 2, but he wasn't positive. He could have been 3. Another person I talked to said he was out of the venue by volley 3. he thinks. So I was kind of curious about all that. I wanted to see get somebody to map all that out. Now to map that out is just a huge undertaking. Like what you're talking about, exactly what you're talking about. It's a huge undertaking because you're going to have to go into all kinds of body-worn camera footage, which sounds like you've done, and figure out where these bullets were hitting by the sonic cracks that you're hearing within the body cams. Huge undertaking. Just figuring out these single shots is kind of a big undertaking because you only got 2 cameras. You're going from the tall ace of spades, one side of the concert, to the VIP area video, and within those videos, you can hear the bullets landing in some of them, and you can't hear them in the other. So it gets kind of screwball. So I never did that work. I'm glad somebody did though. Yeah, I'm about to get off here too. Yeah, but you're welcome, man. I don't have a problem answering questions, but again, I wanted to just kind of address comments too because I have a really bad tendency for not addressing comments, and like I said, I've always been that way. It's just I don't mean to, but what ends up happening is I look at it, I say, okay, I'll look into that, but then something else comes up, someone else says something, then I'm off to the next thing, and next thing I know, I forgot all about the comment that was left. I'm sure there's hundreds of comments on some of my older videos that I've never addressed. Anyways, with that, I think I'm good here. I think I've kind of gone through everything I kind of wanted to go through, all the comments that I've gotten lately. So I just want to say thank you everybody for leaving those, and I think I'm out of here. Got things to do. Have a good day, everyone.
Dude, pointed stick.
Pointed stick. Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick.
Pointed stick?
Pointed stick.
Whoa, pointed stick.
That pointed stick.
Pointed stick!
Stick. We don't have any time for your trolling behavior on this channel. It just isn't welcome here. And so, good riddance to you.
And I'm not going to lie, dude. I just love watching that. Anyways, have a good day, man.